Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. My name is Anna, and today we are going to talk about motivation. I am very excited about this topic. Motivation is something we all need. It helps us get up in the morning, it helps us do our work, it helps us reach our goals. But sometimes motivation is hard to find. I think many people feel this way. One day you feel full of energy, another day you do not want to do anything. So today we will talk about what motivation is and how we can find more of it. I am here with my friend Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Anna. Thank you for the warm introduction. I'm really happy to be here today. Motivation is one of my favorite topics to talk about. I think about it a lot. Why do some people always seem energetic and excited, and why do others feel tired and stuck? I believe motivation is not something you just have or do not have. I think it is something you can build. You can grow it. You can learn how to find it, even on difficult days. That is what makes this topic so interesting and useful. I hope everyone listening today will find something helpful in our conversation. Let us start.
Let's start. So, Mark, first question. What is motivation? Can you explain it in very simple words? I know this word is very common. People use it all the time. But I think not everyone really knows what it means. I think motivation is the reason why we do something. It's the energy behind our actions. Like, why do you go to work? Maybe because you need money, or maybe because you love your job. Both of those are motivations. They are different, but both are real. What do you think? How would you explain motivation to someone who is hearing this word for the first time?
I love that question, Anna. Yes, motivation is the reason behind what we do. It is the answer to the question, why? Why do I exercise? Because I want to be healthy. That is my motivation. Why do I study? Because I want a better job. That is another motivation. Motivation is like the engine of a car. Without an engine, the car doesn't move. Without motivation, we do not move either. We stay in the same place. We don't grow. We don't achieve anything. So motivation is really important for life. It gives us direction and energy. And I think everyone has it inside them. They just need to fight it.
The engine of a car. I love that image. It really explains it well. Now, Mark, I want to ask about something I read once. There are two types of motivation. One is called intrinsic, and the other is called extrinsic. These are big words, but the ideas are simple. Intrinsic motivation means you do something because you love it. You enjoy the activity itself. For example, you paint because painting makes you happy. Extrinsic motivation means you do something for a reward outside yourself. You paint because someone pays you. I think both types are real, and both matter. What do you think about these two types?
Yes, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Great topic. I think intrinsic motivation is more powerful in the long run. When you love what you do, you never really feel like you're working. You enjoy the process, not just the result. But extrinsic motivation is also useful. Money, praise, awards, these things help too. They can push you to start something, and sometimes starting is the hardest part. I think the best situation is when you have both. You enjoy what you do, and you get a good reward for it. But if I had to choose, I would choose to love what I do. That keeps you going on hard days.
Loving what you do, that is beautiful. But I also want to be honest. Not everyone loves their job or their daily tasks. Many people do things they do not enjoy. Maybe they clean the house, or they do difficult homework, or they work in a job they find boring. So how do we find motivation for things we do not enjoy? This is a very real problem. I think many listeners can relate to this. You have something to do, you do not want to do it, but you have to. How do you find the energy for that? I think this is one of the most important questions we can answer today. Mark, what do you think?
That is such a real and important question, Anna. Yes, sometimes we have to do things we don't like. My strategy is to connect the task to something I do care about. For example, I don't enjoy cleaning, but I love having a clean home, so I think about the result, not the task. I think, after I clean, my home will be beautiful and calm. I will feel good. That thought gives me motivation to start. You connect the boring task to a goal or result that matters to you. The task is the road, the goal is the destination. You don't have to love the road, you just need to love where you're going.
The road and the destination, that is a wonderful way to think about it. I use a similar idea. When I don't want to exercise, I think about how I will feel after, strong, energetic, proud of myself, and that feeling motivates me to start. So we use our imagination to create motivation. We picture the end result, we feel it before it happens, and that feeling pulls us forward. I think this is a very practical tip. You don't need to wait for motivation to appear, you can create it. Just imagine the positive result and let that image pull you into action. It really works if you try it honestly.
Absolutely. Imagination is a very powerful tool. Our brain doesn't always know the difference between something real and something we imagine clearly. So if you imagine success, your brain starts to believe it's possible. And when your brain believes something is possible, you feel more motivated to try. This is also why vision boards are popular. People put pictures of their goals on a board. They look at it every day. They see their dream home, their dream job, their dream life, and it keeps them motivated. The image becomes a daily reminder of why they're working hard. I think it's a simple but effective strategy.
Vision boards. I have heard of those. Some people love them, others think they are silly. But I think the idea behind them is solid. You need to keep your goals visible. If your goals are hidden in your head, you forget them easily. But if you see them every day, they stay alive. They stay real. Another simple way to keep goals visible is to write them down. Just write your goal on a piece of paper and put it where you can see it. On your mirror, on your desk, on your fridge. Every time you see it, you remember why you are working. It's a small action, but it has a big effect. Do you write your goals down, Mark?
Yes, I write my goals down every week. It is one of the most useful habits I have. There's something special about writing a goal. When it is only in your head, it's just a dream. When you write it down, it becomes more real, more serious. It feels like a promise to yourself. I also write why the goal is important to me, not just what I want, but why I want it. The why is very powerful. If your why is strong enough, you can get through almost any difficulty. For example, my goal is to be healthy. My why is that I want to be active and happy for my family. That why keeps me going even on hard days.
The why is so important. I think this is one of the key ideas about motivation. When you have a strong reason, you find the energy. When you do not have a clear reason, everything feels pointless. I sometimes ask myself, why am I doing this? If the answer is clear and meaningful, I feel motivated. If the answer is unclear, I feel lost. So finding your why is like finding your compass. It shows you the direction. It keeps you on track. I think many people skip this step. They set goals, but they do not ask why, and then they lose motivation quickly. Asking why takes only a few minutes, but it makes a huge difference.
Yes, the why is everything. And I want to add something. Your why needs to be personal. It should matter to you, not to someone else. Many people have goals because their parents want them to, or because society says it's the right thing. But if the goal is not truly yours, your motivation will not last. You will feel empty even if you achieve it. So take time to think about what you really want in life, what makes you happy, what matters to you. These are big questions, but the answers are your real motivation. When you live according to your own values and desires, motivation comes more naturally and stays longer.
Living according to your own values. That is so true. Okay, let us talk about something very common, losing motivation. I think everyone has experienced this. You start something with so much energy, you're excited, you work hard, but then, after a few days or weeks, the excitement goes away. You feel tired, you want to stop. This is very normal, but it's also very frustrating. I call this the motivation drop. It happens to almost everyone. The question is, what do we do when this happens? How do we keep going when we don't feel motivated anymore? Mark, have you experienced this? How do you handle it?
Oh, I know the motivation drop very well. It happens to me all the time, especially with long projects. At the beginning, everything is exciting and new, but in the middle, it gets hard and boring. I call this the messy middle. It is the hardest part. My strategy is to not rely only on motivation, because motivation goes up and down. Instead, I build habits and systems. A habit doesn't need motivation, you just do it automatically, like brushing your teeth. You don't think about it, you just do it. If I make exercise a habit, I don't need to feel motivated every day. I just follow my routine. Habits carry you through when motivation is low.
Habits are so powerful. I totally agree. When something becomes a habit, you don't have to fight yourself every day. You just do it. Like brushing your teeth, exactly. Nobody thinks about motivation to brush their teeth, they just do it. So the goal is to turn our important activities into habits. Exercise, studying, writing, eating healthy. If we can make these habits, we don't need high motivation every single day. But building a habit takes time. People say it takes about 66 days to form a new habit. That's more than 2 months. So we need to be patient and consistent at the beginning. It's worth it in the end.
66 days is a good number to remember, and during those 66 days, motivation will go up and down. That's normal. The key is to show up even on the days you don't feel like it, even if you do a smaller version of the task. For example, if you plan to exercise for 30 minutes but you feel terrible, just do 5 minutes. 5 minutes is better than 0, and often once you start, you continue more than 5 minutes. The hardest part is always starting. Once you start, momentum helps you continue. So on low motivation days, just start small. Don't skip completely. Keep the habit alive with a tiny version of it.
Starting small is such great advice. I use this idea too. I call it the 2-minute rule. If you want to build a habit, start with just 2 minutes. Want to read every day? Read for 2 minutes. Want to meditate? Meditate for 2 minutes. The goal at first is not to do a lot. The goal is just to show up, to do the thing, even for a very short time. Because showing up is the most important part. Once you're there, you can always do more, but the habit of showing up is what matters most. Over time, 2 minutes becomes 10 minutes, then 30 minutes. But it all starts with those first 2 minutes of just beginning.
The 2-minute rule is brilliant. I have used it. It works really well. Another thing that helps me stay motivated is tracking progress. I keep a simple journal or chart. Every day, I put a small mark when I complete my habit. After a week, I can see 7 marks. After a month, I see 30 marks. That visual record is very motivating. You can see your progress, you can see your consistency, and you do not want to break the chain. Seeing 20 days in a row makes you want to continue to 21, then 30, then 50. Progress is motivating, and when motivation is low, looking at how far you've come gives you energy to keep going forward.
Do not break the chain. I love that idea. It makes motivation feel like a game. You are playing against yourself. How many days can I continue? It is simple but very effective. I also think celebrating small progress is important. Many people only celebrate when they reach the big goal, but big goals take a long time. If you wait only for the big celebration, you feel unmotivated for months. Instead, celebrate small wins. You exercised 3 times this week? Celebrate. You finished a chapter of your book? Celebrate. Small celebrations give you little bursts of happiness and motivation along the way. They keep the journey enjoyable, not just the destination.
Yes, celebrate small wins. Our brain loves rewards. When you celebrate, your brain releases a happy chemical called dopamine, and dopamine makes you want to do the same action again. So celebrating is not just fun, it's actually helping your brain build motivation. The reward doesn't have to be big. Maybe you enjoy a nice cup of coffee, or you watch a favorite show, or you tell a friend about your progress. Something small that feels good to you. The important thing is to acknowledge your effort. Say to yourself, I did this. I am proud. That positive self-talk is also very motivating. We often forget to give ourselves credit for our progress.
Dopamine and celebration. That's really interesting. I love understanding the science behind motivation. It makes it feel more real. Okay, let's talk about something that often kills motivation: failure. When we fail, we feel terrible. We feel like giving up. We think, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe this goal is not for me. These thoughts are very powerful and very negative. They can stop us completely. I think how we react to failure is very important. Some people give up after one failure, others learn from it and try again. What is your relationship with failure, Mark? How do you handle it when things go wrong?
Failure is a topic I feel strongly about, Anna. I used to be afraid of failure. I avoided trying new things because I didn't want to fail, and that fear actually stopped me from growing. Then I changed how I think about failure. Now I see failure as information. When something doesn't work, it tells me something. It shows me what to change. Every failure is a lesson. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he made the light bulb. He didn't say, "I'm a failure." He said, "I found 1,000 ways that do not work." That's a wonderful way to think. Failure is part of the process, not the end of the road.
I love that story about Edison. 1,000 ways that don't work. What a positive perspective. I think our attitude toward failure really shapes how far we go in life. If we see failure as the end, we stop trying. But if we see failure as a teacher, we keep learning and growing. I also think it helps to remember that everyone fails. Even the most successful people fail. They fail a lot. We just don't always see their failures. We only see their success. So we compare our behind-the-scenes struggles to other people's highlight reel. That's not fair to ourselves. Everyone struggles, everyone fails. It's part of being human and part of growing.
Comparing yourself to others is a big motivation killer. I've experienced this. I look at someone very successful and I think, why am I not there yet? And I feel discouraged. But this comparison is not useful. Everyone is on a different path. Everyone starts from a different place. Everyone has different challenges. The only useful comparison is with yourself. Compare today's you to yesterday's you. Are you a little better? A little stronger? A little more knowledgeable? That's what matters. Your own growth is the real measure of success. When you focus on your own progress, you feel more motivated and more satisfied with your journey.
Comparing yourself only to your past self, that's such healthy advice. I want to talk now about the environment around us and how it affects motivation. I think the people around you have a huge effect on your motivation. If you're around positive, motivated people, you feel more motivated too. Energy is contagious. When your friends are excited and working hard, you feel inspired to do the same. But if you're around negative people who complain all the time and say things are impossible, you start to feel the same way. Have you noticed this in your own life, Mark? How do the people around you affect your motivation?
Oh, absolutely, Anna. The people around you make a massive difference. There's a famous saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I think this is very true. If your 5 closest friends are lazy and negative, it's very hard to stay motivated. But if your friends are ambitious and supportive, you naturally rise to their level. This doesn't mean you should drop all your old friends, but you should think about who you spend most of your time with. Try to find at least 1 or 2 people who inspire you, who push you to be better. Their energy will lift yours. It's one of the most powerful things you can do.
You are the average of the 5 people around you. That is a powerful idea. I want to add something. It is not only real people who can inspire us. Books, podcasts, videos, these can also be sources of motivation. When I read about someone who overcame difficulties and achieved great things, I feel inspired. I think, if they did it, maybe I can too. Stories of real people are very motivating. That is one reason why biographies are so popular. You learn from other people's journeys. You see how they handled failure and kept going. So choose what you read and watch carefully. The content you consume shapes your mindset and your level of motivation every day.
Yes, what you read and watch really matters. I call this feeding your mind. Just like you feed your body with food, you feed your mind with information. If you eat junk food every day, your body feels bad. If you watch negative news and sad videos all day, your mind feels bad too. So try to fill your mind with positive and inspiring content. Not fake positivity, but real stories of real people. Books about people who overcame hard things. Podcasts about learning and growing. This kind of content is like vitamins for your motivation. It keeps your mindset strong and hopeful. And a hopeful mindset is a motivated mindset. It starts with what you choose to consume daily.
Vitamins for your motivation. I love that phrase. Okay, let us talk about morning routines. I think how you start your morning can really set the tone for your motivation all day. If you wake up and immediately check bad news or social media, you might feel anxious and unmotivated before breakfast. But if you start your morning with something positive and energizing, you feel ready for the day. I have a simple morning routine. I drink water, move my body a little, and think of one thing I'm grateful for. Just 3 simple things, and my mornings feel so much better. Does a morning routine help your motivation, Mark?
Morning routines are a game changer for me. When I start my day well, everything else flows better. My morning routine is short but powerful. I wake up without checking my phone for the first 30 minutes. Those first 30 minutes are mine. I drink water, do some light stretching, and write down my 3 main goals for the day. Just 3, not 20. And I write 1 sentence about why today is going to be a good day. It sounds small, but it puts me in a positive and purposeful mindset from the very start. When you begin your day with intention, you feel more in control, and feeling in control is very motivating.
Beginning your day with intention. Beautiful. I also want to talk about rest and motivation. Some people think that to be motivated, you must always be working, always be busy, always be doing something. But I actually think the opposite is true. Rest is essential for motivation. When you are tired and burned out, you have no motivation at all. Your energy is empty. But when you are well rested and refreshed, motivation comes more easily. Sleep is so important. A good night of sleep makes you feel more positive, more creative, and more ready to face challenges. Have you noticed how everything feels harder when you are tired, Mark?
Oh yes, definitely. When I'm tired, everything feels impossible. Small problems feel huge. Tasks that are normally easy feel difficult. And my motivation drops to 0. Sleep is not lazy. Sleep is productive. When you sleep, your brain recovers. It processes information. It prepares for the next day. So getting enough sleep is actually one of the most productive things you can do. I try to sleep at least 7 or 8 hours every night, and I protect that sleep time. I don't stay up late watching videos when I have an important day tomorrow. Rest is part of the success plan. You cannot run on empty and expect great results.
Rest is part of the success plan. Yes. I also want to talk about mental health and motivation. I think they are deeply connected. When we feel sad, anxious, or depressed, motivation is very hard to find. Everything feels heavy. Getting out of bed is hard. And I think it's important to talk about this honestly. Sometimes low motivation is not just laziness. Sometimes it's a sign that we need help. We need to talk to someone, a friend, a family member, or a professional. Asking for help is not weak. It's brave and smart. Taking care of your mental health is one of the best things you can do for your motivation and for your life.
Thank you for saying that, Anna. It's so important. Sometimes people feel guilty about low motivation. They think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just do things? But sometimes the body and mind need support, and that's completely okay. Mental health is just as important as physical health. If your leg was broken, you would see a doctor. The same should be true for your mind. Talking to someone, getting support, taking care of yourself, these are all forms of strength, not weakness. When your mental health is better, your motivation naturally improves too. So always take care of your whole self, mind, body, and heart together.
Okay, let us talk about something a little different now. The role of purpose in motivation. Purpose is bigger than a goal. A goal is something you want to achieve. Purpose is the deeper reason for everything you do. It is your mission, your reason for being. For example, a goal is to get a promotion, but purpose is to help people and make the world a little better through your work. When you have a sense of purpose, motivation comes from a very deep place. You are not just working for money or status. You are working for something that truly matters to you. It is very powerful.
Purpose is the deepest level of motivation. I completely agree, Anna. When I do work that feels meaningful, I don't even notice the time passing. I feel energized, not drained. But when I do work that feels empty and pointless, I feel exhausted, even after a short time. So finding purpose in what you do is important. Sometimes this means changing jobs or paths, but sometimes it just means changing your perspective on your current situation. Even a simple job can feel meaningful if you connect it to something bigger. A cleaner at a hospital is not just cleaning floors. They're helping sick people heal in a clean and safe environment. That's a meaningful purpose.
What a beautiful example. Finding meaning in simple things. I think that is a skill we can all develop, looking for the meaning behind what we do. Okay, let us talk about one more common problem, staying motivated when others do not believe in you. Sometimes people around you say, "That is too hard. You cannot do that. Be realistic." These words can really hurt and kill your motivation. I have experienced this. Someone I trusted told me my dream was not realistic, and for a while, I believed them. I stopped trying. But then, I decided to not let other people's doubts become my doubts. Have you had this experience, Mark? How do you protect your inner belief from negative people?
Yes, I have absolutely experienced this. Other people's doubt can be very discouraging, especially when those people are close to you. I think the first thing is to understand why they doubt you. Often it's because they care and they're afraid you'll get hurt, or sometimes they project their own fears onto you. Their doubt says more about them than about you. The second thing is to protect your inner belief. You need to believe in yourself even when others do not. That inner belief is your most valuable resource. Feed it with positive evidence. Remember times you succeeded. Remember challenges you overcame. Keep those memories close. They remind you that you are capable and strong.
Protecting your inner belief, yes. And I want to add, find at least one person who does believe in you. A mentor, a friend, a family member. Someone who says, "Yes, you can do this. I believe in you." Those words are incredibly powerful. When I feel lost and doubtful, I call my sister. She always encourages me. She reminds me of my strengths. And after talking to her, I feel motivated again. Everyone needs at least one person like that in their life. And also, be that person for someone else. Encourage the people around you. Tell them you believe in them. Your words can ignite someone else's motivation. That is a beautiful gift to give.
Being a source of motivation for others. I love that. When you encourage someone, you also motivate yourself. It's funny how that works. When I explain why someone else can do something, I start to believe the same about myself. Teaching and encouraging others is also a way to strengthen your own mindset. We're all connected. We lift each other up, or we pull each other down. I choose to lift, and I think that choice itself is a form of motivation. Choosing to be positive, choosing to believe, choosing to try again. Motivation is not just a feeling, it's also a daily choice. You choose every morning how you will face the day. That choice matters.
Motivation as a daily choice. I really like that idea. It makes motivation feel more stable. It's not just something that comes and goes randomly. It's something we can choose and build every day. Okay, let us talk about gratitude and motivation. I believe gratitude is a huge source of motivation. When you appreciate what you have, you feel more positive. And when you feel more positive, you feel more motivated. Gratitude is like watering a plant. It helps everything grow. I try to write 3 things I am grateful for every morning. It takes only 2 minutes, but it changes my whole mindset. Do you practice gratitude, Mark?
Yes, gratitude is a daily practice for me. Every evening before sleep, I think of 3 good things that happened that day. Even on a hard day, there are always small good things. Maybe the sun was shining. Maybe I had a good meal. Maybe a friend smiled at me. These small things matter. Gratitude helps you see the good in your life, and when you see the good, you feel more motivated to protect it and grow it. Without gratitude, we focus only on what's missing, and that focus creates a feeling of lack and discouragement. With gratitude, we see abundance, and abundance is a great foundation for motivation and joy. It truly works.
Gratitude is so powerful. I love that practice, Mark. Okay, let us talk about the role of fun in motivation. I think people sometimes forget that motivation can come from enjoying yourself. If something is fun, you naturally want to do it. You don't need to force yourself. So, one strategy is to make your goals more fun. If you want to exercise, find a sport you enjoy. If you need to study, make it into a game. If you have to do a boring task, do it with music or with a friend. Adding fun to your activities is a real and effective way to stay motivated. Work doesn't always have to feel like work. It can sometimes feel like play, and that's wonderful.
Making things fun is such a great strategy. I think this is something we forget as adults. When we were children, we were naturally motivated because everything was a game. We played, we explored, we tried things without fear. Somewhere along the way, we learned to see things as work and duty. But what if we brought back a little of that playful spirit? What if we approached challenges with curiosity instead of stress? I try to see difficult tasks as puzzles. I think, how can I solve this? It's like a game, and that mindset makes hard things feel more interesting. Curiosity is a wonderful source of natural motivation that never really runs out.
Curiosity as motivation. I love that. Always being curious, always learning. Okay, we're at the end of our wonderful conversation today. I want to ask you one last important question, Mark. If someone is listening right now and they feel completely unmotivated, what would you say to them? What is your most important message? What do you want them to hear? I think this might be the most valuable part of our whole conversation because someone out there really needs to hear something helpful and kind right now. So speak to them directly. What do you want them to know?
To anyone who feels unmotivated right now, I want to say this. It's okay. It's completely normal. You're not broken. You're human. Motivation comes and goes for everyone. Even the most successful people have days when they don't want to do anything. What matters is not how you feel today. What matters is that you don't give up on yourself. Start with one tiny step, just one. Drink a glass of water. Go outside for 5 minutes. Write one sentence. Do one small thing. That one small thing is enough for today. You don't have to fix everything at once. Just take one step. Tomorrow, you'll take another. That's how mountains are climbed. One step at a time.
One step at a time. That is the most perfect way to end. Thank you, Mark. This was a truly wonderful conversation. We talked about what motivation is and the 2 types. We talked about finding your why, building habits, celebrating small wins, handling failure, surrounding yourself with positive people, and taking care of your mind and body. We talked about morning routines, goals, purpose, gratitude, and fun. There is so much wisdom in all of it. And the most important message is simple. You can do it. Believe in yourself. Start small, keep going, and be kind to yourself on the journey. Thank you to all our listeners for being here today. See you next time.